Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani. Well, I suppose we're going to have our turn too. Everybody has been talking about aircraft, passengers, safety, propriety, unruly behavior, and on and on and on. Unfortunately, this is not news anymore in the sense that the latest incident of it, that is, Wasiu Ayinde, Lagos musician, he flew Value Jet the other day. It became an issue. And now Comfort Emanson, she flew Ibom Air, and it has become an issue. Okay, and our guest, Dr. Okpebamewo, Dr. Okpebanwo, I don't know why I always put an I in there. I shouldn't be putting a vowel in there. Dr. Okpebanwo, good morning, Dr. Banwo, good morning.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you. Very, very well, thank you. And I hope you're good too, all those hours away in the U.S.
I'm good, thank you so much.
All right then. So we have our turn now. So I suppose one way to sort of put it is global best practices of safety and security of aircraft and airports, if you want. Of course, this follows the incident that has gone viral all over the country with Comfort Emanson following very closely on Wasiu Ayinde. First of all, everybody keeps on saying that these incidents, the two of them, even as we are focusing on the Ibom Air mishap, that if these were to happen outside of the country, anywhere outside where they have a history of flying, it will be a very, very dim view will be taken of it. So let me take it from you. In your experience, you've been over in the U.S., you're a frequent traveler, frequent flyer. Give me your first impressions on, if you want, pack the two of them together, but essentially the latest one is Comfort Emanson and Ibom Air. But your impressions?
Yes. Well, let me start by saying this, that in aviation, as far as I know, I'm not going to call myself an aviation expert. I'm a lawyer and a commentator, but we all know safety is sacred. It is not just about keeping planes in the air. It is about ensuring that every passenger, every crew member, and every person in the terminal is protected from harm. So the recent incidents that you are referring to involving the Ibom Air and, of course, the Value Jet, we can't talk about them in isolation. It's all part of the, they are not isolated outbursts. They're a wake-up call for Nigeria around the world. Airports and airlines operate on a simple truth. One unruly passenger can jeopardize lives of hundreds. It can disrupt entire flight schedules, as we saw, and undermine public confidence in our aviation system. That is why the global best practices, as you say, leave no room for tolerance. They combine prevention, swift intervention, and serious consequences. So if we want Nigeria's aviation industry to meet world-class standard, safety standard, as Keyamo SAN is trying very hard, one of the top ministers of this government, in my personal opinion, we must address this issue with the same urgency and disciplines that other nations do, from how we train our staff to how we enforce our laws. We can't have double standards, to how we educate the traveling public, because in the sky, there are no second chances. When these things get screwed up, people die. So it's not something that any serious government should smile on. So if, to come back to your question, what happened in with the Ibom Air, since that's what you asked me, if that were to happen abroad, it's going to be obviously that woman is going to face very, very, very serious criminal charges, much more serious than Nigeria will even bring again. They can talk about terrorism. Before she knows that they're charging her with what they charge Al-Qaeda with, they take it that serious. But let's not make it a one-sided thing. Also, the staff that were involved there, the Ibom staff people that dragged her like a dog and basically exposed her nakedness, probably, they probably will get more sanction than the girl because they should know better. They are the ones that are supposed to preserve safety. They know better. They should wait for security. There's a protocol. Yes, I know the lady slapped somebody, and that is unforgivable. That is something she has to pay for. But you are trained professional. You should be trained professionals. I don't think those guys were trained. That is a major issue that they need to go deal with. They need to train their staff. They didn't know how to handle an unruly passenger. When you fly a plane, for every maybe 200 passengers you carry, you're going to get one very uncooperative, one very stupid one. It's part of the hazard of their business. So if they can handle an unruly passenger who let's say slapped her, we saw it. They didn't even know how to handle that. You saw the hostess that was slapped. You saw the way this lady apparently violated aviation rules from what they said, even though there is now dispute as to whether the phone was off or not. But let's say she did. You have already evacuated your flight. Your flight has landed. Everybody's left. She's the only one on the plane from what we can see. Why are you still having conversation with her? Why not wait until security comes in to come and take her away? So there's a lot of Nigerians don't like to hear that part, but I will have to call it because you know me, I will call it. What happened in that airline? Just like what happened with Wasil. I'm going to come to Wasil if you allow me, but let's stay on the question you asked me. The staff of Ibom Air were poorly trained. It shows in the way they handled that crisis. I'm not saying that they should allow a passenger to slap them, but you get one mad person every once in a while. In the airline, it's natural. This is way, like, even in America, we've had people who get drunk and go and assault staff here. They are not killed. There's a way you handle it. So all of that needs to be put in perspective. And that's why I love the way Keyamo handled the case promptly. But even though I do disagree with him on equal application of the law to both that lady and Wasil, but I have to give it to Keyamo. It's been surprising me as a minister. He stepped on it right away, and he made some very important decisions, what I call multidimensional solution, which some people don't seem to see. He addressed the lady, then he also addressed the issue of the crew, which, in my own opinion, is a very, very good way to do it. I just didn't agree with the way he put down the hammer on the lady, and he didn't seem to put it hard enough on Wasil. And I've said that in my article that I published yesterday. So that's my comment.
You probably are aware, too, that Ibom Air has put out a statement where they said they are, quite proud of the way the, staff, the in-flight staff, handled matters, thereby implying that they did the needful, perhaps based on a lot of factors that, have to do with security of the aircraft and that kind of a thing. That I just wanted you to remember that Ibom Air has put out a statement saying they are proud of their staff and the way they handled matters.
Even the statement actually indicted them. They can't say that. They can't say that. Okay, unless the passenger poses immediate threat to the safety of the aircraft, crew, and passengers. I understand that that's under the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority regulation. I think that's part 17 on aviation security. A crew have legal authority to restrain passengers only if, it becomes an immediate threat to the safety of the aircraft, crew, passengers, or property, or interferes under Section 84.3 of the Civil Aviation Act, violent, abusive, and all that. We get that. But the restraint must be proportional and necessary to neutralize the danger, not as punishment or retribution. It's very clear. Civil Aviation Act 2022, Section 84 says the same thing. Crew are permitted to act to protect safety in the air, including restraining a violent passenger. However, removal from the craft, that is deplaning, is a security and law enforcement function. So once on the ground, the matter should be handed over to FAN, Aviation Security, AFSEC, or the police. The law is clear. Civil Aviation Act 2022, Section 84. So a crew member who physically drags a passenger without lawful justification risks liability of assault under the criminal code. They have to understand that. So all that one they are talking about makes no sense. Let's even say the woman slapped. You move away, you isolate her and get the security to come and get her. But you can see Ibom air staff, you can see their uniforms. They are the ones dragging and tearing and exposing the nakedness of this woman. You asked me about America. Let me tell you what will have happened. If this was America, that lady will be charged with very serious crimes, assault and all that. But guess what? The lawyer for that lady could get millions of dollars from Ibom here for the way they treated her. They will handle both like that. She might go to jail 6 months, maybe 1 year. But then she will get millions of dollars from Ibom here for the way she was treated, because what they did to her is an assault. They have to get that. So all that press release is just very disappointing from my own personal point of view. They were not taking any responsibility. Okay, at least in the first incident, the lady who moved the plane was suspended by Koyamo. Okay, and the authorities, which made sense, despite the fact of what Wasiu was alleged to have done. That's my own position here.
Yeah,
so
I hear
you. The crew were just overzealous. They dealt with it the Nigerian way. Oh, that you slap one of us, we will deal with you. And then they dragged her like a dog, tore her clothes in a very barbaric fashion. In my personal opinion, I know Nigerians are not happy with me saying that they should have isolated this lady. Okay? They should have, and should have waited for security, because the plane was on the ground. There was nobody else on the plane again. So there was no reason for them to be talking to herself. They should just be waiting for police to come. And when she assaulted, they should have just, the men there should have just made sure they keep her at bay and wait for security. It's not their job to be dragging passengers. Yes, sir.
Okay. The other thing, of course, is that we don't really know what happened properly against the backdrop of these matters are now going to be they're going to be investigated. And so because we know that these matters are going to be investigated, I don't really know the extent to which one can comment on what's going on, so as not to prejudice whatever investigation is ongoing.
It's not yet being investigated. I hear you 100%.
You know,
I hear you 100%.
because it looks like we saw what happened, but then did you see all of it? Is the other question some people are asking. The video that
I agree.
The video that went crazy, that went all over the place, is the one where, it was unfortunate, but there was some aspect where her clothing was displaced in a most unfortunate and untoward manner. So that really went haywire all over the place. And
I was wrong.
Well, exactly. I don't see how. I don't, except when they come to do their investigation, was it intentionally done to make her semi-nude? Was it intentional? I suppose these are the things that the investigation will look into that those of us on the outside here can't. If it was in the process, an accident happened where, the unfortunate, partial nudity was displayed, that's to one hand. But again, how did the video get on air? How did such a sensitive video get on air? Who made the video? I suppose those will be part of the investigations that we're going to have. But for the moment, I guess most Nigerians have expressed their anger at the way we are behaving. I understand that when you have these situations with airlines, between airlines and passengers, rejecting cabin craft instructions, is a prominent part of what brings about all these problems. If the cabin people tell you, this is the regulation, please do this, some people don't do it. Oftentimes when the pilot says through the system, the intercom system, that please switch off your phones, not everybody complies. But I don't know how, well, our people say every day for the thief, but one day for the owner. That such non-compliance, if indeed that is what happened, because I'm very careful to say that we're waiting on the investigation. If, one just doesn't know what has happened, even as we have seen the pictures. That's the problem there.
I agree with you. I agree with you. We don't. Some things may look one way until you get the full picture. But this whole thing, I'm surprised. See, it's the way we like to do short-term thinking in Nigeria. All of us are focusing so much on what the passenger did or didn't do. Oh, they didn't comply, even what you just said. But to me, that is not the real problem. When you are when there's 1 million people, 100,000 people traveling through an airport every day, you are going to get 5, 10, 20 mad people, angry people, drunk people who are going to come. So you expect that there will be some people that just won't listen to rules. The real problem here is that our security forces are not doing their job. Either they are not trained enough, because you don't want me to go to Wasi, but I will go there.
Okay? Please, feel free.
Regardless of the issues, okay? How did Wasil get to the foot of the train, of the plane? If the security were doing their job, it won't get there. But it's because of this fear of authority over respect for power. Nobody is talking that. The people that are supposed to check Wasil where before they even get on the car to go to the plane, they are the ones that should be suspended first. They didn't do their job. Instead of doing their job, you know what they did? They followed Wasil all the way to the plane because Wasil was a big man. And they had to call, even the pilot was wrong to come down and be having conversation with a passenger that is obviously violating aviation rules. She put herself in position to even be poured water, which is what they are claiming. Okay, how will a pilot even put himself in a situation where a passenger that is not even yet on the plane is pouring water on her? What is her business on the ground? Those are the issues. How did he get past security? Those are the, so to me, it is the primary thing in all of this is training our aviation security people to be better, to enforce the law. If you enforce the law, Nigerians obey the law. Nigerians are the most, I won't use the word cowardly. Okay, I won't use that. Nigerians are not cowards. But Nigerians follow the law when somebody puts down the law on them. They don't do this in the airport in America. Nigerians will not do that. That lady will not do that thing he did on the ground in America. She was able to do it because she knows that they use power play in Nigeria. She knows, even her, as long as they were to have dragged her, see what she was still saying when she was on ground. This is that one I had for myself that I will show you.
Yes.
Wasiu said the same thing.
Yeah.
The owner of the airline will hear it.
He will feel me.
We feel me. How can you say that? You can't say that in America. See, they won't even talk to you because they are trained. Once you start showing your way, everybody moves away from you. They pick up the phone. They even have button they press. Once they press that red button under their table, everything happens immediately. Security comes in. You see godo around you, heavy men. They carry you right there. There is no drama where you then get to be assaulting pilot. So our pilots are not trained well. That's why even the pilot can, no matter what they tell me, I saw with my 2 eyes, why will a pilot move a plane when people are still arguing in front of your plane? It's either she's poorly trained or she's allowing her emotion. And I think she was well trained. It was her emotion that allowed her to say, okay, oh, Nikurumbe, I will run you over. It's all part of. So to me, those are the most serious problems. We expect passengers to be unruly. Even me that I'm a lawyer, I've seen clients come to my office, start to get unruly over their case or whatever. You are not going to get into physical with them. You simply call police. You press 911. In 5 minutes, they are there and they take the person away. Not to talk about the airline where every Dick and Harry who has money to buy ticket can get in there.
Okay.
So I'm not for blaming Nigerians for not obeying the rules. I blame the law enforcers for not enforcing the rules, because the Agbon has proved one thing. Nigerians will obey the law when you enforce it. It did it in 1984, right? And we have seen Nigerians abroad. They are all very gentle when they are at that airport, because they know if they talk anyhow, security will take them away in the next 30 seconds. So that is my own reaction to all of this. And when people You get. Let me just finish that sentence. You get more of what you permit. Once Nigerians know that you are not going to enforce the law on them very strictly, they then get out of control, just like children do too. If in your house you are lax in enforcing the law, the children will keep testing you and they start getting worse. But when they know that I do this, my dad is going to kill me, they respect themselves. And that's where we start from. Yes.
You're so right about that, but it's also unfortunate because that imagery you use there, comparing it with even children, that look, children will be testing the limits. And it's a truism. What you've said is true. It looks like we constantly are testing the limits to see how far we can go with it. This second case scenario where she was asked to switch off her phone, there's been some talk, looking at the press, as to whether it was on airplane mode or she just refused to switch it off. That's why I said it's very important to wait for the investigation results to come out so that we stop, taking stuff that we have seen on air. But the comment you made that the pilot, the captain of the value jet aircraft, that look, she lost her cool, which I think that point has been made, and indeed she's been sanctioned for it. But I don't think she really meant to, get up into the flight deck or whatever, the captain's, cockpit there, and say, wait there if you want, that kind of a thing. She just knew. She knew. Talo Mari Kuto Maduro. She knew that move this thing a bit, and this man giving us all this problem, he will move. And true, that one ducked like a champion. He ducked like a champion, and from there on, there have been jokes all over the place. Ariku Yeri, and on.
Sorry. That's what makes our action more dangerous. Because what if Wasi was really drunk? We don't know. Like we said, he said it's water. They are saying it's alcohol in their own press release. What if the man was drunk and did not have enough presence of mind to dodge the wing of the plane?
Yes.
Then they will have killed him. So is it that? Is that the penalty for being unruly? We have to think. They don't say that. Oh, he knows that he will move. He knows that he will move. It's all part of either lack of training or being emotional.
Yes.
You don't do that when you are in control of a plane that can cause the loss of lives of hundreds of people. Those kind of people should not be flying. With all due respect, if she says that I knew it will move, if I move, then she needs to be relieved of her job. If she claims, that might be the only plausible explanation she can go, that I didn't even know they are still there, it will be a lie, but I will take that. You understand what I'm saying? I didn't know. You can't tell me that I was sure it was going to run when I moved the plane. A plane, how many tons? If Wasiu forgot to, and it cooled down. Okay? Because you assume that, because normally, Wasiu, I'm not trying to make case for Wasiu. With the Wasiu I know, he used to be my client. Okay? That was 30 years ago, I get it. But it's normally a cool guy. Okay? Yes, everybody who has power tries to show it. I'm not going to say he's a gentleman. But Wasiu typically doesn't just go off like that, in my own experience with him. So for him to get to that place and be making all that noise, it's either it's on something, in my own personal opinion. Because it's so unusual of him to do that. Because it's wrong. He must know it's wrong. So something was going on with him. And for that, they should have bundled. It should not even be at the foot of the plane. Me, if I'm the minister, I didn't hear them suspending the security that followed him to the plane. Those are the first people I will suspend. Because they allowed their starstruckness. They were starstruck by Wasiu, and they all followed him to go and say, okay, let us go and talk to the airport, the pilot, Boyo Magba. This is the kind of thing I saw happening there, that maybe the pilot would listen.
Yeah.
And the pilot, too, out of too much respect for Wasiu, came down to come and be having conversation with an unruly passenger. How?
Yeah.
It can't happen in America.
Let me bring in George. Good morning, Mr. George in Ikeja.
Good morning, Uncle Yori, and good morning to Dr. Okpebanwo.
Yes, good morning.
Uncle Yori, I don't often agree with Dr. Banwo, but I agree absolutely with what he's saying this morning on this matter. I do not encourage being unruly in anywhere, in any public place. by anybody. It's uncalled for. But I believe also that you must address the cause of a problem before the effects. What am I saying really? This lady, from the story I heard,
Comfort Emerson.
yes, she was fiddling with her phone against the rules of the airline. Then, if somebody that was in the same plane with her had to go and seize the phone from her, it is the duty of a passenger to enforce the rules on another passenger. The best that passenger can do is to report her to the airline crew. And those ones will be able to follow the rules of enforcement. If that had been the case, this scenario would have been different. Now, we don't know what happened between the passenger that seized her phone and this girl. Because she will say, why do you have to seize my phone? Who are you to seize my phone? You are a passenger, I'm a passenger. Nobody has heard what transpired there. For me, I want to hear this guy's side of the story.
Oh, okay, indeed.
We need to hear, because if you look at it, there's so much human rights issues on this matter.
Mm-hmm.
If you have committed a crime and you are even jailed, you still have some human rights that you are entitled to. I cannot see why you should strip a woman naked in public place because you are enforcing rules. It's not acceptable.
Okay, indeed. I think everybody's agreed on that distasteful aspect of the whole operation. But I don't know. That's why I'm emphasizing that we're going to have to wait to be able to speak directly and strongly on what happened there, on the outcomes of their investigation. Now, this whole matter about switch off your phone, the reason for that, we know, is that they say those signals, the signals emitting from cell phones, can interfere with, the signals that they are using. That's why they want it switched off for a period. And I think later on, they will let you know when it's all right to switch on your phones again. So the passenger, if you take interference with signals that are in use on board a plane, and you see someone next to you or close to you, defying those rules, I don't know whether that person might be able to make the case that, I was afraid for the life of everybody here now. What the experts have told us is that the signals from your phone can interfere with the signals. So that's why I say not making any call or any judgment, but when the results of this thing come, we'll know what happened. Now, speaking about that, I saw another video, I think coming from Comfort Emerson herself. I saw one video where she herself was showing a person in the uniform of Ibom Air, saying, you see now, she won't let me off. Oh, why won't she let me off the plane? She was behind this person who had barricaded the doorway with her body. So yes, there's much that has to come out. And but the most important thing, as you have already said, Okwe, is that safety is the most important aspect. Now, even in safety, there are procedures, there are issues of rights. All of this is what we're going to have to wait on the authorities to come and speak to us about. But there's just before you
switching off.
Just before you go, sir, just before you go, you will comment, but let me add Ade, who is calling in from the UK, so that you can, take those two together. Good morning, Ade in the UK.
Good morning, Dr. Yori. I'm hearing you faintly. I believe you are hearing me.
Yes, we can hear you well.
My comment about this scenario is that there should be a law or a guideline in Nigeria on what you can post online. You see, what I did not agree with is that how can they post
there are guidelines
like that?
There are guidelines. There are guidelines.
If there are guidelines, whoever posted the
technical argument when you're in the air, okay? When if anything goes wrong, everybody dies. It's not, you're not going to be doing technical argument with the crew. If the crew says switch off, then you switch off. Even though I do agree that since 2013, generally across the world, it has been the practice now. I mean, I travel a lot, and I can't remember the last time I've been asked to switch off my phone. What they tell you is to put it in airplane mode during all phases of the flight. But those are for flights, for aircraft that are certified for portable electronic device. They call it PED since 2013 in USA and Europe and all that. But maybe that plane is not PED certified. I don't know the type of plane they are driving. I mean, they are using. There are different types of plane. But it doesn't even matter whether it was PED certified or not. If a airline host says switch off your phone, you have to switch it off, then you argue after. But you don't put people's life. That is one. Number two, the passenger is right, even under the law. When she feels if you are not obeying the instruction of the crew, should she stay there until you kill her? No, it's self-defense at this point. Okay, I will snatch the phone too. And I'm going to snatch it from her. I will start the fight self. It will be passenger to passenger because now I'm defending my life.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to violate the law.
Interesting.
Because essentially, by leaving the phone on or putting it even in flight mode, if that plane is not PED certified or if the flight crew thinks I will endanger the plane, then I'm with the flight crew. So if you're endangering the plane, you're endangering my life. And the law allows me, in self-defense, to protect my life from being taken by some stupid passenger. Yeah. So that passenger that's not the phone, I'm not going to blame her. He doesn't have any liability here.
All right,
because the crew already disobeyed flight instruction. But I do agree, the protocol for the airline should have also been better. It's all I'm saying in terms of dealing with it. Remember, from what we see, and you and I agree, we don't know all the facts, so it will not be fair for us to make final judgment based on what we see. But we did see that plane was empty.
Yeah.
That plane was stationary. At that point, the rules are different.
Okay.
It's not that they are flying in the air.
I got to take a break now. I beg your pardon. We'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Every weekday on Business Nigeria, we uncover the secrets of the financial world.
We analyze the stock market, shares, bonds, and the thrilling world of cryptocurrency.
Facts matter. Our team dives deep to separate fact from popular opinion.
We simplify complex government policies as it impacts your everyday life, helping you navigate the ever-changing financial landscape.
Watch Business Nigeria every weekday at 2 p.m. only on TVC News. First with breaking news.
Okay, welcome back. And our guest is Dr. Okwebanwo, US-based lawyer and policy analyst. He's reaching us live. We always thank him because the distance between the US and Nigeria is not beans. So he's got up at some unholy hour of the day in order to make this time. Thank you very much, Dr. Okwebanwo. Kesandu, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yuri.
Thank you for calling.
Good morning, sir.
Please go ahead.
Uncle Yuri, please, the truth, like your guest said, good morning to him. We might not have the facts on ground, but I want to say something. When you bought a flight, the people in the wisdom of the people who actually constructed airplanes and phones, they had this thing called flight mode. Because we've seen several, even celebrities, they go make videos while the flight is ahead. That means that people was on flight mode. They were just having videos and pictures. It is not going to obstruct it. That is it. So if truly the girl had her phone on flight mode and she was embarrassed, it is also wrong. Because your phone can still be on. The flight mode means nothing is going to happen. Nothing is happening. And I tell you, my father says you might have a genuine case, but the way you present it will make you lose your case. The way the young girl was stripped naked and carried up was wrong. It is wrong anywhere, anytime. There were better ways to handle that situation. And we also had the news that she has been remanded. But some time ago, we just saw somebody that actually playing with a ran over. Justice. So please, we need to act professional in most of these things.
Okay.
There were some better ways that we could have handled this thing without hearing this thing. It is wrong. It is not good for the personality of that people there.
Okay.
So for me, we don't have the facts, but what we saw, from what the eye can see, please. And if truly the phone was on flight mode, there was no basis.
Okay.
Harassment and embarrassment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. She wasn't stripped naked, but it was bad enough. I mean, partially naked, I suppose, is the expression that we should be using, because her top was unfortunately, displayed. Now, moving to another aspect of this, I say all of this because one is being, erring on the side of caution, just awaiting the results of this investigation to come out. Now, Okwe, to come to the other matter that has arisen from this, Comfort Emansin is now being linked with Wasiu Ayinde. Comfort Emansin, Ibom Air, Wasiu Ayinde, Value Jet, the infringements that they both, undertook might be different. But people are noticing that there's a big difference in the way Wasiu Ayinde was treated, and they are adducing reasons to it. And now this woman, Comfort Emansin, has been remanded in custody. Immediately, she went to court, and I think that is where they got the authority, and she is now remanded in prison custody. So people are saying, so what's the difference? Why wasn't Wasiu Ayinde? Why didn't he get the same treatment? This whole goose and gander thing has come about all over again. Like, if it's good for the goose, why isn't it good for the gander?
I agree. I actually called it. I published an article yesterday. I didn't even know you are going to call me to come on the air. I published an article yesterday. I said, what is good for the cruise slapper should be good for the plane blocker. Right? So I feel that there was double standard, because let's really be honest here. In practical terms, what the Ibom person girl, what the one they call Kwam 2 now, okay, what the lady did was bad, slapping the crew and all that. But in practical terms, Wasiu's case actually presented more danger. It's actually a worse offense than the lady. The lady slapped one person in a plane that is stationary with no passengers on board. So there was no risk of injury to anybody else or life of anybody else other than that lady that they were slapping each other. In Wasiu's case, Wasiu actually went into the boarding, the plane itself. Wasiu interfered with a plane that was about to move with passengers on board already, disrupting the itinerary of literally hundreds of passengers and putting his own life at risk. Okay? So, to me, Wasiu's case is a lot more serious when you look at it in that context, in the context of danger to other people other than himself, in a disrupting of the itinerary of other people who probably have an appointment because he caused all those delays, for standing in front of a plane, a live plane with the engine running.
Who does that?
Or somebody who
does that? Who does that?
Who does exactly? So now we now have a minister who have even congratulated for swiftly handling the situation. I'm one of those people who pleaded after Wasiu apologized that we should temper justice with mercy. I'm not saying they should let him go, but they should consider the fact that this man has owned up to his problem, and they should be temper justice with mercy. Then this lady's own happened. Yes. Then I lost my mind. You can't do that. Wasiu was not arrested. He should have been arrested there. He's my friend. But I have to call it. Okay? Right there, why would he go home?
For whatever that is worth, there are those who are saying that you look at Wasiu's apology. It was a video apology. It was done in video. You look at his body language. And the body language accompanying the apology has left a lot of people dissatisfied. But that's their take on it. You know, that's their particular take on it. So there are challenges all over the place.
I see. At least he made an apology, but the apology came much later. Let's not confuse the issue. He didn't apologize at the airport. He was still threatening even the owner of the plane that Shoname will
feel him. We'll feel him.
Will feel me.
Yes.
And then he was saying, nobody does this to me and get away.
Yeah.
If you want to make this a national issue, I will show you. So it was very, very power drunk. Again, like I said, I don't mince words. It's my friend. And I told he was my former client for 30 years ago. So I should really be on his side and be trying to make it. So I don't do that stuff. Okay? It was 100% wrong. And he should have been arrested if only. In fact, because he's a celebrity, okay, to whom much is given, much is expected. His own is one I expect for them to make an example more than the unknown girl.
I hear you.
In the Ibom case, they should have had him arrested, handcuffed, make sure that camera saw him, even if they're still going to let him go later. Why? To send a very big signal that if we can treat Wasiu like this, your life will be gone if you try it. Okay. They didn't do that. Number two, everybody knows how close Wasiu is to the president. This is an embarrassment for the president, by the way, not even for him. So because of that, they needed to make sure he's treated even more harshly than he deserved, just to dispel the idea that APC and the government is doing favoritism. They missed that.
All right.
And nobody complained before. I didn't even complain about that. I was even saying, okay, the man has apologized. He even took time to go and speak English and be trying his best on a teleprompter. Another was temper justice with mercy. Then this lady's own happened. And all of a sudden, they banned her local and international. Wasiu's in Canada now. He was able to travel. They banned this one, local and international. They are prosecuting her. They are ABBA. It's double standard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me bring on Mazi Okoroafo, who has been waiting. Good morning, Mazi. Sorry for keeping you waiting.
Good morning, sir. That's right. That's no problem, sir. Sorry, I've never spoken for us. Let us look at this thing critically and analyze it in a strategic method. Now, what happened there? The first where I have to say, the take record, whatever I think on program, I'll tell you, we should be taking the causes, not the symptoms. Now, the airport authority should have an equipment. When something like that happens, you take the mental ability or the mental health of that person. Is that person normal before doing that thing? We don't take those things. We bounce on them. No problem. But the question is, if court can decide that can pass a judgment within 3 hours under such an incident, what happens to previous issues that happened in Nigeria that the court will keep adjourning? The police say they're investigating. Why so great of this type of incident? Nigeria should find out the causes. What is the background of that person that this thing has happened? Slapping everybody, not to slap, or whether slap or not. But this incident has happened. And the authority, Nigerian Airport Authority, bring in equipment to be taking people anytime there is such an incident. Because this mental health, 70% of Nigerians are suffering with mental health from different scenarios, different factors, and different things. But we don't care about it. We just care about that. Now, the judge that took this judge, that make that step. It's lawful for the judge to take such a test, to carry somebody of that man, I call it minor, because this is public assault. Carrying somebody to Kiri, where you keep condemned, where there are people that are waiting trial, people that are about to that committed sort of murder. So this much. What happens to the police said that is supposed to keep the Nigerian public don't have it. The court supposed to you prevent this person to
okay.
Then somebody blame her. What the question of going to keep was Kiri. You know that word Kiri that been raining, that is one of the strongest prison yards in this
just
country.
By the name.
You carry somebody of such magnitude.
The very
and our judges, they have to be very careful.
All right.
Look at the cases that have to do constitutionally on issue of guidance, not issue that you come and carry somebody as if they was a criminal case. Now the airport authority, thank God that the people that were there, they didn't slap back, and they should do the needful. When something ought to happen, it's a polite way of handling such an issue inside America. Look, what is happening now has gone better. At least to have what Americans say, that the federal government should hand over this issue of kidnapping, Boko Haram, let them call. American government drop her position. I've said it. That was yesterday evening statement.
Okay. All right, Mazi. I beg, thank you very much for calling in. Really appreciate your call, Mazi. The other
but let me correct Mazi right there. See,
go right ahead, please.
Call it where it is. That lady committed serious assault. She was charged to court, and she could not make bail. Is why she ended up in Kirikiri. Let's not mix up the facts. Okay, they took her to court the way they should within 24 hours, which is what lawyers like me will be arguing. She was arrested as she should have been arrested. She was charged to court as she should have been charged to court within 24 hours. The judge gave her terms of bail, and she couldn't meet it.
Yeah.
When you can't meet your bail, you go to jail.
Yeah.
To me, that is on the books. They did what they need to do there. Okay, but whether they should have arrested her at all, when they didn't arrest somebody else, it's a whole different issue. I think she should have been arrested. She was violent.
Okay.
But I also think Wasiu should have been arrested, even if they're going to give him bail on self-recognizance at the police station, because everybody knows him and is entitled to that.
I just have a little time left with which I wanted to air this matter with you. Much has been made of Wasiu Ayinde's supposed closeness to the president. I don't know the extent to which that factors into this at all. What does that have to do with anything? Yes.
He has everything, sir. Optics is everything, no? Okay? Because he felt he had that kind of power. Is why he did that to start with. Is everybody that goes and be saying, do you know who I am? Who is he? If it's not because he's the featured APC singer and everybody can see him and the president on air. Let's not miss words. That is why I felt that out of respect for the president, he should have behaved better.
So you don't think it's unfair on the presidency that people are saying Wasiu Ayinde is supposedly a friend of the president? I don't
Is
really
it a lie?
I don't know. I wouldn't know.
No, you will know, sir, because you watch TV. Okay, we seen them.
I see him doing his job, singing.
Huh?
I see him doing his job, singing. The man is singing. That's doing his job.
How many singers, oh God, let's Nigerians are listening to you, sir. Don't insult their intelligence. Okay? How many singers have you seen near the president? Other than Wasiu? Number one. Number two,
Davido.
Wasiu performs Davido with the president, going with the president to go out. Okay, maybe Davido too is a friend of the president. But nobody can dispute this. Wasiu is that strong. Look at him saying it now, that I guarantee this man with the federal government. He was talking about Shonamen. Shonamen is a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
Was my classmate in secondary school. Yeah. Very reclusive guy, very self-respecting guy. But you don't talk about him anyhow like that if you don't have that kind of power.
All right.
Okay, so he himself is saying it. And I'm saying that's why he should have been more careful out of respect for what people will say. Whether it's true or not, people are not going to care. It's what we see that we are judging. Okay? So he should have been better. And I would not be surprised if there is a consequence of Masorok on him on this one, because he embarrassed them. He basically flaunted the power he may not even have from what you are saying.
Exactly the point I was alluding at. But thank you very much, Okwe. Our time has run out. It always happens to us. We want to talk some more, but time is a despot. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Okwe Banwo, US-based lawyer and policy analyst. Thank you very much for coming on. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.